Hi guys, this is Stars Dab, and this is the interesting tidbit. And I'm here with Chris, and
Hello.
he's my little dear friend in the can for now. But yeah, this is
Yeah.
Chris is here, and we're gonna talk about the movie real quick. So we're talking about Captain America: Brave New World, and here is the trailer.
Captain America. You ever ask yourself who's playing who?
Someone's been pulling the strings on everything.
You're under arrest.
I don't want a variable out there that I can't control. Captain America caught without his wings.
You like to play dress up and blindly execute. This is.
Since when were they red?
You want me? Come and get me!
This is exactly why I don't watch trailers. As someone who actively avoid trailers,
Same.
yeah, well, I mean, I'm glad I did because holy crap, it really like spoils the entire movie. But unfortunately, all the marketing for this movie, I think, was terrible. The poster that you have up right now shows Harrison Ford and it shows the Red Hulk.
I know.
And
Oh my god. I hated that so much. And just watching the trailer, it spoils so much. It's really crazy to
exactly.
me. And I'm just like, why? What are you doing? I feel the marketing so much too has changed so much where it's like, I don't know if it's a matter of trying to appeal to like grabbing the attention of people to like spend their money. Like, what do you want to spend your money for? Red Hulk, you know? And it's not even so much about
Mm,
like what is the mystery behind this movie? Like, why are you paying your money to see it? Cause before you used to have posters, literally, you would just literally just have the name of the movie, or you'd have like an image of like this is just a guy's face, right? And there's like
I
nothing
remember,
else.
like, yeah, if this was the 90s or so, it would just be like the Shield and
Yeah.
maybe the Falcon's like initial on it or something.
Yeah, or like his
And it'd be
wings or
like Captain
something.
America 4.
Everybody is on the, even people who I don't expect to be on the poster because they're like side characters, they're on the poster. It does try to make itself like an espionage movie where it's like mystery and conspiracy in the government, but then on the flip side, it's just like we know the Hulk is like this thing that's sticking out that we all know that we're just looking forward to see what happened, and that's a problem with the marketing.
That's a huge problem with the movie because yeah, the strength of a espionage movie or a conspiracy movie is not knowing what the conspiracy is
Yeah.
until the very end of the movie. Then you have the reveal, and you're like, "Oh, I didn't see that
Yeah,
coming.
exactly.
What the?"
Yeah. And the thing is that they
And this,
spoil it so much because there is no kind of layering in
they
that apart
they
from
literally spoil the conspiracy in the trailers
yeah.
and
That's
that and in the marketing.
yep.
So literally, it's the very thing that you'd be watching the movie for, the question that you're asking, it already gave you the answer from the beginning. And so you're like, oh, well, if, especially going in, you're like, well, if they're showing that Hulk is the reveal, then it must be something more. And so you go in then expecting maybe, okay, there's something more to this. And it's like, no, we actually just showed you everything about the movie that
The problem is if the story that's being told isn't bigger than like the big elephant in the room, then it's like what is what is going to be
why am I watching
yeah,
this?
why are you watching the movie? And that's a big problem that Marvel's having, especially the fact that, like, again, I feel like the marketing really is one of those things that either can make or break a movie. Maybe they were not trying to play it off like it was a secret, but it's like, if you're, like you said, the movie was kind of going on this thing where it's just like a conspiracy theory, what is happening. Hi guys, and if you reached this far and you're really enjoying the video right now, can you please like and subscribe and comment and share? It really helps me to grow this channel, and I really thank you if you have. If not, no worries, no pressure, but it really helps. And check out my other links in the description. Thank you. Okay, bye. Movie, you're trying to they played it like you're, in any movie like those, you're trying to like follow the breadcrumbs, But if the crumbs,
Yeah,
if the big crumb is in the trailers, it's like you already know what's happening. And
exactly.
it really takes away any kind of, because all you're thinking about,
Tension.
yeah, because all you're thinking about the whole time, you're thinking about, is like, when is the Hulk is going to show up? When are they going to fight? When is the Hulk
Exactly.
is going to show up?
Exactly. So even like one of the other things that had annoyed me in the posters, they showed the Celestial.
Yeah.
That would have been such a cool reveal to me. Well, one, the Red Hulk would have been a very cool reveal, and the Celestial, because I was one of the few people who actually really loved the Eternals.
Yeah.
One of their most different
Mm-hmm.
movies, in my opinion. Some people hate that. I
Oh, I
personally
see.
really like it. But yeah, so to be like, oh, the plot point in the Eternals is now appearing all these years later, but it's actually still appearing in this new movie.
Yeah.
It would have been such a cool story plot to have not known beforehand. So with the Eternals having the Celestial and then not seeing it for years, you kind of feel more annoyed because you're like, well, okay, I've taken the time to watch this movie,
Yeah.
and now you're saying by your actions that it wasn't really that important. Why am I, watching these
Yeah.
movies? Which is why it then becomes more gratifying when you do see those plot points start showing up in these new movies. But I mean,
I mean, because it's
it
good to
would
be
feel
able
better
to
if they didn't
layer
spoil it.
layer in, especially in these movies. Like the older Marvel movies, they all have a bit of a lot of layering within them, and I think that really helped in terms of really creating more of like a rich like world. What do you think of just the actors that they use?
I love all the all the actors. I think you know me. I've always been a huge fan of Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
He is like one of my top black actors of all time. I feel that for the keep not giving him
More, they need to give
the
him more stuff.
accolades.
I feel like they're kind of holding back and like that's giving him more like gritty stuff, and I find it very
Exactly.
interesting. I think it's one of
I
the
feel
things that bugged me about this movie as well. I just feel like there was so much more. Like I mean, he's knocking it out of the park as
he
to
doesn't
me as
influence
Captain
the
America.
story as
Yeah,
much as he should.
yeah. I just want to mention this one line I saw from the somebody mentioned in the trailer. By the way, it just said, "Thank goodness for the hip hop background. I would never have known Cap was black without it." I thought about that too. It's so funny. It's like
Yeah, I hate like that.
it's so funny whenever there's like a black superhero or something like that. As soon as like, you hear the rap music in the background, I'm like, oh snap!
Yeah.
Like even in a scene when they're in the White House and I heard the hip hop music playing, I was like, oh yeah, of course. That's how we know we're in the
Yeah.
plot movie. Yay!
Yeah.
The director's name is Julius Ona. Um, he's worked on a
What has
few.
he been in?
His main movie that I think we all know him for is like Cloverfield Paradox. He hasn't really worked on like a lot of big movies I've seen. A lot of movies kind of have a similar theme of like thriller, conspiracy, kind of espionage kind of vibe to his movies. And so he's not like a well-known director, at least for me. But if anybody in the comment section that you guys know him for something, let me know. Two writers on the movie is they worked on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series.
Okay.
Then the last guy, he also worked on Empire. He worked on Bel Air. So these are
Oh, really? Ouch.
yeah. So these are
They needed to hip hop it up
I
a
know,
bit,
right?
so they got the Empire and Bel Air guy.
And I can see that influence on it, can't you? Like I do see the
Uh,
influence a little bit.
I don't mind black motifs
Mm-hmm.
in a movie,
Yeah.
but if you're going to be like, oh, hey, like, look at these blackity black stuff, then go, like, go all in about the black
Yeah.
experience. Because one of the problems with the movie that I have is like, you have this black character who feels like in America, I don't necessarily feel worthy of this title of Captain America. And you have this older guy who was the actual first Captain America, and his history was, I'm a black guy, they tortured me. I don't identify with this.
They will never let a black man be Captain America. And even if they did, no self-respecting black man would ever want to be.
The American experience,
Yeah, and it's just
and
like,
yet
can
they
we dig more in
hardly
that?
touch any of that.
If you're gonna go through and write about a black experience, you have to go all out. One of the issues I feel like a lot with the Marvel movies now is like they're just like scraping the surface. And it's like
Yeah.
if you're gonna because listen, they've gone all out, right? When Endgame happened, it really felt like Endgame. Like they went all out. Like I mean,
Yeah.
regardless if you had issues with some of the Marvel movies before then, they went all out to be like, hey, this is the last movie, right? And everything you could think
Mhm.
about, they really tried to push it in terms of action, in terms of like emotional like riffs and stuff like that. Like I think that they did so much in doing that. So like if this is going to be the aftermath of what happened, you gotta go all out. You can't just be like, okay, well, we're gonna write some of it and not all of it.
Mhm.
This can honestly be a comparison to also Black Panther, because that's the reason why Black Panther was so impactful to me. It was not just a matter of like,
Mhm.
hey, here's this blackity black superhero. No, that's just what people of Kingdom go, right? He grew up in the hood. Talked about how Wakanda turned their back on their people, their own black people and stuff. Like these are some really deep shit you're talking about, and then how about like
Mhm.
being enslaved and like breaking that chain and just like burning everything to the ground. Like that was a passion that you have to be able to carry on throughout the movies if you're going to make an aftermath. Right, I just kind of
Yeah.
felt like
Mhm.
like Sam Wilson, like he was dealing with the pressure of stuff, but I feel like he's like, yeah, the pressure is on, but he's like gliding through this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I don't feel
Mhm.
I don't feel his life is in jeopardy as in the way that we all know it would be, right? So like even that scene with Isaiah Bradley when he ran out of the White House and all the police were chasing him and they all had the guns on him and Sam was there, and I felt that part, and it could have gone so many ways, like with so much of the experiences that happen right now, we know, with police gunning down a lot of black people or people of color. And it's just one of those things, like what you said, like he talked about him being tortured for so many years, right? His lack of trust for the government and like for the any kind of system or authority in that way. They needed to push it more, especially something so serious and that's something that could reflect right now that's what's happening. I feel like they're just
Mhm.
not they pull back so much and just kind of like made it very more sugar coated. And because of
Yeah.
that, you don't really feel the weight of everything that's happening.
Black Panther feels like they they've built the world around the black experience. It's a black
Facts.
movie, but it's also the world building itself is black.
Yeah.
And so when it even carries over into the sequel,
Mm-hmm.
those themes are allowed to still breathe and still carry over. And so the Black Panther world feels cohesive. Sam Wilson doesn't feel really a part of the Captain America world. So Sam Wilson feels like you could replace him with any other character
Yeah.
and the story stays the same.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
That is a big, big
Um,
freaking problem.
because it assumes that then him being black would be non-consequential. And unfortunately, that's just not the world we live in.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like they are, I don't know if they're trying to just appease to the general fans or the public or what, but I feel like, again, like what I'm saying is that this being the aftermath, it has to be able to take a different turn in terms of like, they've kind of been there, done that, with all of these movies that was out previously before Endgame. And like you said, like they could have replaced him with anybody. It still feels like the same movie, but you have to make it something that stays with people, and that's the problem. If it can't stays with you, especially at this point in where we are in like the Marvel experience, it's like you're just not going to remember it. Like even from that movie,
Yeah,
just watching it, the only thing I can remember is the Hulk. The Hulk.
yeah, exactly. And for me, it doesn't even have to be necessarily the black experience
Yeah.
or,
Of course.
but you have to answer the question at the end of Endgame, Steve Rogers felt that Sam Wilson was worthy of the shield. And we've had two media experiences now, Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Captain America Brave New World. And it has both, neither movie to me has properly answered
Why?
why Sam Wilson
Yeah, the big why.
specifically
Hmm.
was worthy of the shield.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And that is a big thing. Like I said, again, they kind of trying to touch on it in the movie, right? But it still circles around he's not Steve Rogers. We know he's not Steve. Like then who the is he, right? Like I would love
Yeah.
to see a reflection of
I,
him in like the black kids in the neighborhood or something, because
mhm.
it has to be something deeper, right? Like you
Yeah.
have to be able to touch people on an emotional level in the sense that why this weighs so much on him. I think Adi
Yeah.
Maki did
Like,
a great
why?
job trying to like put that across, especially in that scene that he had with talking to Joaquin in the hospital. I thought that was a really beautiful scene. That was one of the scenes that I thought was like this is,
Which
if
scene?
the scene when he was talking to Joaquin in the hospital after he got hurt.
Oh, right, right,
That
right.
scene, I'm like, damn, if they keep that energy, like
Yeah,
this
but
could
that
be
was
a
like
a
the end of the
potential.
movie.
Yeah, but I know it's fucking sad, right? But I'm not saying like if they could go with the same kind of theme, like dig like that, right? When Joaquin was talking about like, damn, like
See, yeah.
the reason why he looked towards like Sam, because from the neighborhood he's from, people like him, nothing happens to them. They don't get anything, right? And he wants to be able to make that change in his life and be this hero, right? Aspire to be something like what Sam is, without the whole glamour of, or without the abilities and stuff like that. And I felt that.
That was kind of, yeah, my point where, because Sam, for example, doesn't take the the soldier serum,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, why wouldn't you take the soldier serum?
Yeah.
And I feel like they needed to better answer personality wise why Sam feels, because he does question and he does, you see a little scene where he's like, maybe I should have taken the serum, the soldier serum, but they don't really go deep into it.
Yeah, they don't go deep into. There
Um,
would be a good scene if it was like, damn, you see him bleeding and he's just like looking at how human he is. You know what I'm saying? Like that would have been such a great scene. Like that, the one scene that got me like, oh shit, was like when he was fighting the Hulk and the Hulk grabbed his head. That shit was just like,
mhm.
I was like, damn, he is human. Like
Yeah,
that shit really grabbed me, and it's just like, but I can't wait. I can't wait for like an hour in the movie to feel that experience, bro. Like what are we doing here?
Spider-Man 2, I feel is a
Yeah.
really good example. You have a scene where he's pushed so much to the limit that he passes out, and it's the people who has to embrace him, and they literally, you know, Jesus scene basically
Oh, the
have to
Jesus
hold
scene.
him up. And it's not until like at the end of that scene where they take off his mask and realize, oh shit,
It's just a kid.
not only is he human, he's a child,
Yeah, he's
basically.
a kid, and they all be like, "Hey, man, listen, we got your back," you know.
We won't tell nobody. It's good to have you back, Spider-Man.
Where
Yeah,
is that
this
scene in
this
Captain
movie
America?
needed a scene like that where
Yeah,
Sam, again, I feel like Sam wasn't pushed nearly as hard as the movie needed him to be
yeah,
pushed.
I agree with that. Can we talk about the fighting in this movie? I kind of felt like the fighting wasn't great. The choreographer of the fighting wasn't the best.
They didn't shoot it that great in my opinion because there's a lot of I mean I'm a little biased when it comes to action fighting scenes
Mm-hmm.
because I like wide shots where you can see
Yeah,
all the movements happening, and
I
they
think
do a
so
lot of
too.
medium shots,
Yeah,
where it's really much more close in than it needs to be. So you don't really feel 100% the impact of the fights, in my opinion, when you have it too close up.
yeah. Not only have
Um,
it too close
and
up,
it's
but it was the lighting in some of the scenes where they're inside and stuff like that. The
yeah,
light, it was
where
very
you it's
kind of
just
not
not
clear.
as easy to see the movement. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you feel like you don't feel the impact, especially with a character like Sam, where Sam is human.
yeah,
And so if he's human fighting, you need to show him struggling, and you
yeah,
can't do that in a medium shot. It's like why Jackie Chan movies work so well because it's a huge wide shot. You get to see every single movement and
yeah.
every single impact that happens to
That is
Jackie
true.
Chan.
I feel like it's a matter of angles as well because a lot of the angles, if you realize, it wasn't very much like head on. It was more like side, right? So you can't even really feel like you're engaging in it a lot because it just feels like the camera isn't directly pointing at him. It was just more like you're at the side watching everything happening. And then they've had cool scenes with him with the shield and stuff like that. But again, like what you're saying, like I had the same issue too. It's like I kind of wanted him to be a bit more like grimy. Like he's a human, right? And there's no way certain scenes I could think that he would come out of this like, yeah, okay. They try to say like, okay, he's wearing like caviar, the armor,
The
or
Kevlar.
yeah. And I understand that they try to make it like, okay, he's doing everything possible to try and like maintain his not be
Yeah,
damaged
because
or anything like
like
that.
he
But
gets stabbed in the chest, and I'm
yeah,
like, how are you still walking? Kevlar protects you against bullet
bullets,
wounds. It
yeah.
doesn't protect you against knife wounds.
I know, but I think, and that is just what again one of those things I just feel like sometimes the writers really do underestimate
And I mean,
their
it could have been
audience.
like, oh well, it's a new type of armor, but they specifically showed him bleeding.
Yeah. Like it's not like he didn't get stabbed in his side and near his heart. Like this dude was just like, damn, I really don't need the super syrup. Like I don't
Yeah.
need it. Right here just brushing it off and he got the plot armor at this point. So goddamn. Here we have what we know about Sam. His history is that like he was in the army. He's a vet. He had skills with counseling and stuff like that. Like, where are the people who he used to counsel? Like, it would be nice to see some of these people rally behind him and be like, "Hey, I'm so glad
Mm-hmm.
you're capped now," or like, these
Mm-hmm.
people who he said he helped these soldiers are dealing with PTSD or like survivor's guilt or stuff like that. Like, where are these
Yeah.
people that lives he's touched and like
Yeah.
made him really question like, damn, should he really be Captain America? Like, is because he's working for the government again. So it's one thing to have
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah to be the one to like bring up these questions, but even Isaiah was not bringing up the deep questions. It's just like, what about all those soldiers you help and how they give their life to the government and what's the
Yeah.
result of it? And we need to see that struggle within him. I don't really know that deep about Sam, like what he likes. I just know he wants to do the right thing, and that's great. But like why? What is the deep think that you're being conflicted about why you need to feel like you need to do the right thing.
Yeah, but again, even within the world itself, there needs to be kind of some cohesion, because I'm like,
That
yeah,
too.
you want to link it with modern issues in the world, but even in the world of the MCU, we haven't seen what Ross has been doing. Why would Sam trust Ross? Why would Isaiah not be like, nah, I don't
Because
like
he's the
this guy?
president,
We've
Chris. He's the
seen,
president.
yeah,
That's all
like,
you need now. That's all you need to have good
yeah,
faith in people, right? Just the fucking label.
exactly. And I'm like, it feels half baked.
In Civil War, I mean, Sam turned his back on the government to go with what
Yeah,
Chris Evans, Captain America, believed in, because he believed what they're doing was the right thing, right? So now here
yeah,
he's back again with the government, and it's just one of those things. It's just like, this happened so long ago. He doesn't know that it's like that. He doesn't know that it's Ross like that. And can I just say that I wish it was the original actor, but I know that he passed away. So, I mean,
because yeah,
we
Harrison
got
Ford is fine.
Harrison Ford, I guess. Like, I don't hate him as an actor, but I just felt like, I don't know, he wasn't
He's a
working
very
for me.
gravelly. It is.
Yeah. God.
Harrison Ford.
Oh my God. For real. It was just like, it is Harrison Ford. I don't know. It just kind of took me out a little bit. I mean, I in parts where it was more the emotional scenes, I think those are the parts I could really rock with. I like Thaddeus Ross character, but like I said, like, we don't know what other history he has with him. That he's just like, it's the president. What are you gonna do, Chris? It's you gotta listen to,
Yeah,
It's like, oh my God, I
I
didn't
I
really.
feel like movies need to bring back the montage.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Oh yes,
the
I agree
80s and
with you.
90s, like we really overplayed the montage, but I feel like modern movies have been like, no, you can just
You can just use your memory, man. Like, you don't
yeah,
remember
just
that
use your
from 30
memory.
years
Like,
ago? Like,
yeah, no, yeah, exactly. I'm like, no, I'm old now.
oh my
Please,
God, which bring
just
us.
give me a recap montage would be fine,
Yeah, I mean,
or just like,
The
hey,
all the Marvel fans, you start with that like 12 is like in their fucking 30s now, man. Like, I want to know.
yeah,
I need a backtrack, okay? Like, you need to play the
yeah,
montage for me.
a 2 minute montage of, hey, this is what Ross has been doing for the past 20 years. Kissing the puppy in his campaign. This is why he's a good guy now.
I know, right? He's trying to
And
change, and here he is, the president. Like, that's. I mean, what else?
yeah,
How else you going to show that you can change, Chris? You just have to run for the president. You need to try
yeah.
harder. You know?
Because I'm like, the last time I saw Ross was him being like, "Oh, you Avengers are the worst.
Yeah.
You need to be shut down." And the time before that, he was shooting the Hulk. So those are my impressions of Ross.
Yeah. So it's
Why
when they brought him
why is he
in,
not the president?
and I was just like, "What? He's president now?" Like,
How is he the
Earth just lost
president?
her best defender. So we're here to fight. And if you want to stand in our way, we'll fight you too. Arrest them.
brings me to my next issue, right? Apart from we don't remember in like the last like 20 years, Samuel Stern, he was talking about how Thaddeus destroyed his life and everything, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, who is this dude? Like, I'm trying to remember, and then I decided afterwards, when I finished watching the movie, I went back to watch like a clip, and I was like,
The
oh,
Incredible Hulk.
yeah, I was like, oh, he's from the Incredible Hulk, when the
From
abomination 20
20
plus years ago, when he got smacked and the gamma thing hit him on
drips
his.
on his head.
I was just like, he was in that movie. I was like, I didn't remember that. Had this movie been made a bit earlier, when that movie came out, it would have been really more cool. Like, oh my God, it's Samuel Stern, the leader, the guy. He's the brain Hulk.
Yeah.
But it's just like, who was this motherfucker? Like, I don't know who he is. It's like this weasel dude who want his life back again. Yeah, I didn't get my life back anymore. I wanted to make everybody punished. Like, we've seen this so many times again. And
Yeah, it didn't feel very cohesive. I think
or
he
original.
could have been a really good villain.
Yeah.
The themes of the movie
Yeah.
work really well with a genius in the background, mean like, hey, I am going to destroy the government from the inside. Yeah, it's a story that's been played before, but I personally like those story beats. Um, but he doesn't really feel like he has any impact on the
Oh
story.
my God.
And part of the reason why is because the marketing failed this movie by making it be about the Red Hulk. And it's like,
Yeah.
no,
Again.
the movie, the themes of the movie are actually like really good. It's like,
Exactly.
hey,
I
what if you
enjoyed.
had,
I was never bored.
yeah,
Like, I wasn't actually bored watching the movie, right? I wasn't bored because I did
yeah,
like the themes of like who is doing this, like the
yeah.
moving
So
pieces and
yeah,
stuff like that.
as I was saying, the
Hmm.
themes of the movie is what happens when you allow the president of your country to go one-ton crazy.
Yeah.
This is what happens when we allow people in power to go unchecked.
Yeah.
And that's a really good theme.
That's a
That's
good
a really
theme.
good.
The movie
Oh
had a
shit,
lot of good
yeah, they
themes.
literally can turn into monsters
Yeah.
and destroy your country.
Yeah.
That's a really good
Literally.
theme, and it's very poignant in this environment that we live in right now. Yet they just they just like drop the ball, like, because it's very relevant for today. Yet they just don't do anything with it.
Yeah, I feel like there were so many strong messages in this movie about like being able to measure up to what somebody what society want of you, being able to prove that you are enough. Can you handle the pressure? Like, what
Yeah.
comes with the consequences of being a person, being human? Like, what are the consequences of being in a superhuman world where you're the only human, right? Like, you're trying to do
Yeah.
this the human way, the human experience. I thought that was, I those are the themes I really enjoyed, and it's those are the themes that I enjoy with Sam Wilson's character, and it's also the issue why I'm like, I just every time I see it, like they're trying to go down this road, I'm like, I want more. Like, this is the human experience.
Hmm.
What is so different about like Sam being like, yo, let me just take the serum, right? That what he can offer that like the others can't.
In the previous movies, again with Steve Rogers, the whole point of the serum was to be like, I am still me,
Yeah,
even
with this.
with the serum.
Yeah,
And so it's like with great power,
comes great
comes great
crack.
responsibility. And Steve Rogers is able to be like, even with great power, I am still able to be me. So Sam, it hasn't been given that trial, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Hmm.
Where the interesting thing would be, if Sam is given all this new power, is he able to still remain Sam?
Yeah,
And he's not been given adequate challenges, in my opinion, to answer that question.
that's true. I agree with that too. That's what it felt like, and I think that's kind of the one of the things that's kind of like holding people from truly loving him, because you want to be able to be like, okay, this guy been through back hell and back. He's doing so much to like play his part and
Hmm.
still remain human, and how to be able to do
Yeah.
that. And there's one of the questions too that I felt like really hurts the movie, not just this movie, just in general, is that because when you look at the Marvel universe, and you kind of know like majority of these worlds are kind of tied in, just to be like,
Hmm.
where the are they? Like, we see one scene, by the way, with Bucky coming to support him, and then Bucky's just like, well, I have a Congress to go
I'm in
to.
politics
He's
now. I
in
can't
he's
fight.
in politics now, guys. Well, I mean, good for him. Like overcoming his trauma and his PTSD. Congratulations to Bucky. Isn't that great? Hulk, where's the Hulk? I mean, Hawkeye is still alive.
Yeah, where the fuck is the Hulk?
You know, Hawkeye is still alive. It's not like Hawkeye is dead. Like, hello, Hawkeye. I mean, Sam needs some fucking help here. You know, it's not those. Those are not two different worlds. He's still in the same world with him, right? So like, these are questions that it need to answer. Like, just be like, even as a throwaway, I would really like for them to answer that question too. Like, okay, human Sam is the one have to take on this responsibility. Why? Because the other superheroes that are burnt out. They're burnt. Just say it. They're burnt out, and they want to live their lives, right? So Bucky
Yeah.
being in Congress, I'm like, oh, good for you, you know. I guess. And then the end part when you see him fighting the Hulk, I'm like, I guess Bucky really taking politics really seriously because he was just like, Sam, I'm a fucking be in politics right now. I can't help you with a Hulk, buddy. You know, he's like taking a fucking break. So
It's kind of weird. I feel like because people are like, oh, this is really a Hulk 2 movie. And I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that.
But
Yeah.
I do feel like Bruce Banner should have been in the movie. Scene with
Yeah.
Bucky should have been Bruce Banner.
I think the scene would. It's funny you say Bruce because I thought the scene should have been Steve. Steve. I thought it was.
Steve?
I thought it was going to be Steve.
Steve is dead, isn't he?
Well, is he
Or
dead?
he
Dead?
old?
He's old. He's not dead.
Yeah, but he's old.
No. But here's what I'm saying to you.
They're
It's that-
going what? Bring back old Chris Evans? That was a happening.
No. But here's the reason why I said that, right? Because yeah, you're right. Maybe Bruce could have been the one to be there, right? But again, they keep bringing back Steve, right? Saying you're not Steve Rogers, you're not Steve Rogers, right? They say it in the trailer. They said in the series. If you guys watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like that has been one of the things that's been over his head. Even to have Steve in that moment to ask him like, why did you choose me of all these people, right? I'm like a dude who just had some training in the army. Why would you choose me? Like I can't do anything that you do.
Well, that's why I feel like, yeah, too, at the beginning, they should have had like a montage of Sam and Steve interacting. Because again, the first time like you really see Sam and Steve hang out is when they're running around the pool or whatever, and he's like to your left and all that. You don't really see them being friends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a few scenes where he's like, "Hey, you should watch this movie called Star Wars," and
Yeah.
that's like the only interaction that you.
But
like,
that's what I was saying though.
Steve has never met Sam's family,
Yeah.
for example. You've never seen them eat together. You've never seen them
Yep.
do friend things. Even in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Bucky ends up meeting
Sam's family. Yeah.
Sam's family.
Even making jokes and
And
hanging out
even
with
hits
them.
on his sister
Yeah.
or one of his family members. So
Yeah, I even thought about that in this movie. By the way, I was like, where the fuck is his family? Like he's have his life on the line. It would be nice to get a phone call from one of them or something, be like, hey, be careful out there. Like, hey, it's still a government
on the phone.
Yeah, like, hey, it's still a government. Remember, you're still black. Don't try. You know what I'm saying? Just like to show you the level of what is it, layers that and struggle that he has to deal with, because he has to deal with being able to be Captain America, be a brother, be a symbol, be able to answer to government, to authority figures, people who are not, people who oppress him in some ways, right? And then also be cool with everything. Like it would just be cool to just have and see those raw moments, like a just like off lid kind of thing where maybe he's not the one saying it, but somebody say it for him, right? So you have an idea of like the mindset, like, okay, yeah, you're right. Like, he's still in government. Like he should, that's a missed opportunities.
I agree. As I said, like, why I would have, because there's some people who are like, oh, this is a Hulk 2 movie and it should have been about Bruce Banner. But the thing is, I feel like Bruce Banner has already gone through his story arc.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how would this have challenged Bruce Banner as a character? I don't think it would have challenged him in any way. Um, I still think he should have been in the movie, and they
Yeah.
could have made it like, oh yes, Sam needs help, and literally the two people, his current two enemies, is people that Bruce Banner knows and has interacted with. So he would have asked Bruce Banner for advice,
Yeah.
even
That would
like
have been
over
good
the
too. You're
phone,
right.
even over a phone call, being like, "Yo, Bruce, there's this dude with a bunch of gamma ray signatures. Can you help me?" And Bruce would be like, "Yeah, just I'll send you a document with their
Yeah,
information."
see my
You
document
know, like
information or
me,
that he's not here right now. He's in space doing other but the fact that just to know like
yeah,
there's so many superheroes that's still on Earth and then Sam is the only one that they can call to, it just seems so you can't really take it seriously because then you're just like, what are they doing? That's so much more important, and they're
yeah,
here on Earth. Like so yeah, I would agree with you too. Like had it been that scene where it was maybe Mark Ruffalo was the one that came up to him. It helps to really put into perspective and the weight of what Sam has to deal with. Just knowing like, okay, like he's out of commission. That guy is there, but it's like no, they're not out of commission. They're just I guess they're running for next president or like Bucky or like Congress or whatever.
yeah,
So and that's the issue. That's why I just would like a throwaway line, something, just acknowledge what it is. You're making a world
yeah,
where these people all live in a world, even if they're like maybe they're living in a different dimension, that's fine, okay, whatever. But the ones that we know that's on this earth, just acknowledges what it is. If you're gonna act pretend like it all happened in a bubble, we know it's not happening in a bubble, right? Because then they'll make a reference to something, right? And then you're just like, oh, he's still alive. And then to see Bucky there, and Bucky is just like, I gotta catch a plane to run a Congress. It's just like, what? It's like,
yeah,
all right, well, I guess there are more important things, than to try and like stop the president of the United States
yeah.
ruining the
Cause
world,
like, yeah, cause like,
starting a
why
fucking
Don?
war with the Japanese. What? And no one is
Yeah,
here. No one's here to help anyone.
cause like I could maybe be like, oh well, it's a very government specific problem, and so only the U.S. government really just wants to deal with it on their own. But then you have Don Cheadle. Why isn't Don Cheadle there as War Machine? He literally works for the government,
Yeah, like
and
there's no, there's
we
no.
saw him in Falcon and the
Yeah,
Winter Soldier.
you're trying to still build a world, like so you need these information to move forward, and I think that's one of the issues too. It's like the world before in Endgame and stuff like it was so big and so much more rich that if you're going to move forward to try and build, it's so many of the other movies that they're just not cohesive. Like they're not overlaying with each other. They're just existing in worlds, and we know they're there, and we just have to pretend like we don't know what it's like feel it. It kind of feels like you're asking us to be delusional for for these 2 hours just to know like, okay, we know these motherfuckers are alive, but we're just gonna pretend like they don't exist for this moment, just for Sam to have his action moment. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
some of the characters that had in this movie too was great, but there weren't. I didn't love all of them. Like for instance, my guy, the bio. Honestly, I don't even know why he's on the poster. I don't know why he's on the poster.
Human
He
Carlos.
offered nothing to the movie, and I understand that apparently the character that he's playing is a character in the comics as well. But it's just like I didn't feel like we need his character at all.
'Cause I'm a big fan of Esposito, but
Yeah,
I feel
Esposito.
like they were like, we need to introduce him into the world now so that when he shows up in another movie, you'll be like, oh yeah, that was a guy from Captain America 4.
But am I
Um,
wrong? Am I wrong to feel like maybe the person that they used was just like I felt like they should have gone with a different actor, like a younger actor? I don't know. When I was watching the scene with him fighting Sam, I was just like, oh, this don't look good.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I was like, this don't look good. If you take a buyer out of it, would that have changed anything? I don't feel like it would have changed anything in the movie.
It would, yeah, there are ways that they could have worked around it where he wouldn't have been really needed.
Samuel Stern, because I mean, he didn't offer anything else to this movie, especially I felt like the way he went about getting his revenge was such we've
Didn't feel
seen
very
that.
smart.
It didn't feel very smart. Oh, he used the phone to hypnotize him. He used the music to hypnotize. Like I was looking up on his character online and stuff like that, and in the comics he has telekinesis. He has telepathy, right? And obviously superhuman intelligence and stuff like that. It's like, how do you use telekinesis to like mind fuck these people? I would have been like, oh, okay, that make more sense to me. I'm like, he's so smart. He wouldn't think that they would have gone back to watch the surveillance to see what happened.
The biggest plot hole for me was if music plays and everyone would hear that song,
Yeah,
why isn't everyone being mind controlled? But
yeah.
the light blinking sets off triggers the person to be able to be mind controlled by the
But
music.
and that's the thing too. It's like with somebody who's so smart, he wouldn't think they would have figured out to watch back the surveillance.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's still very convoluted,
I
and
mean, mind you, if
there's so many other ways he could have done it that would be smarter and not come off
not only to the
so
end part when
stupidly.
he was just like, I'm gonna ruin Thaddeus Ross's legacy. And he literally had, was it, upload on fucking YouTube or some shit. Oh my god, all journalists. Oh my god, is it true that you work with what? And I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, this was your master fucking plan? Had it been telekinesis or maybe something else, right? Like, all right, okay. And then his master plan was to upload all of the information between him and Ross on the internet.
Yeah, because everybody knows that when something comes from the internet, everyone immediately believes it's true.
Listen,
Before,
if we know anything about internet, if you're not relevant like this dude for the past 20 years, nobody fucking know who you are.
yeah, I'd be like, even so, I'd be like, yeah, some Santas from 20 years ago, who gives a shit?
He's supposed to be prisoner, right? Like they don't teach these people how to evade questions and stuff like that. Like, I mean, we see it all the time. We watch presidential debate. They don't answer shit. You ask them one straight
Exactly.
questions, they answer all around it.
Yeah, it is one of those things that you're like, this isn't as real world as you think it is. It's not even remotely how things would happen in the real world.
And then I just feel like maybe that's one of the reasons is like because they didn't want to give him telekinesis and telepathy because Sam is human, but it's just like, okay, there's still technologies he could figure out around it. Like he's not human and dumb. Give them the challenge to figure out stuff so we can watch them figure it out. It's like you're trying to dumb down things just so it can work for Sam's character, and that's a problem. It's not working. You can't do that because
Uh,
then we see through it and we feel it, you know?
yeah, and there's like so many examples of it being done better, even in bad movies. Because like Batman versus Superman, you have Batman, and you realize he's being manipulated by Lex Luthor at the end of the movie,
Yeah.
and he pushes both Superman and Batman into a situation where both of them feel like, oh, what Superman feels like he needs to fight Batman in order to save like his mother or whatever,
Yeah.
and Batman is being manipulated by Lex Luthor through all this evidence and stuff that he keeps slowly pushing.
Mhm.
There's no moment in Captain America where you feel like Brain Hulk is being is really
Yeah.
manipulating the situation.
He has so
And
much intelligence to see so many things, but then it's like he didn't have a backup plan if his plan didn't work. It's like really Thaddeus is the one that was like holding you hostage from like living your life the way how you want it.
yeah,
Like
like
what? Did you want
really?
validation? Like bro, go to therapy. Like that's how they should have ended. They should have ended with Sam giving counseling to the leader and just working out the problem. That's counts to all of them. Like I think that would have just
That was,
worked. That would
that
have
could have been a powerful scene.
that would have
It
actually been a
could have been
no, actually, even thinking about that could actually be one of his superpowers, right? The fact that he's able to talk to people, like counsel people and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like
that's
Jesus,
what would have made Sam unique.
yeah, give him the superpowers that are human to us. He's very fucking good at talking to people or talking his way out of situations, right? Like
Yeah,
I mean, we see that when he was trying to talk to the Hulk and stuff like that. But
that
yeah,
scene again, thematically, it's not cohesive because again, you have Ross being like, "Hey, my daughter, remember those cherry blossoms that we love to walk around all the time? Wouldn't it be nice if we could walk there again?"
hmm
Then at the end, what you should have done is bring the daughter to the fucking cherry blossom scene. Why isn't the daughter you've set it up? Why isn't she the one to be like, "Hey
I thought
dad,
that
what
too.
are you doing?"
When they were having that scene, and I was like, is Betty really going to show up here like that? Is the actress, because they had her on the phone at one point. I was like, is that really her voice? Like, it'd be really cool if she actually did show up. So I was just like waiting, and that scene, I was like, damn, this is gonna be the moment where you just see her show up. That would have been so fucking cool. But they had her show up at the end part, and I guess they were just like,
When nobody cares anymore.
nobody cares anymore. Yeah,
What they could have done was show Sam being smart and being like, "Hey, I know I can't physically beat this person,
yeah,
but I, because remember, Betty doesn't like Ross at
yeah.
all.
She didn't like
So
him.
they could have had a scene where Sam was like, "Yeah, it's important to forgive because me, I'm a black guy who lived in America
Yeah,
and I've learned to have to forgive this country. If I want to make it a better place, you should forgive your dad if you want to make it a better place."
yeah.
And
Oh my
then
god.
she'd be like, "I'll think about it, but you." And then
Yeah,
at the end of the movie, when he's fighting and it gets really bad with the Hulk, she appears and you're like,
yeah.
"Oh, he actually got through to her with his words."
Yeah, exactly. Some superpower could just be that he's fucking good at talking to people.
That really, yeah, should have been his thing where he gets to people on a human level.
I mean, that's how we met him. The first time we met Sam, the interaction we had with Chris Evans' Cap was that he was counseling vets that went through like in their lives and like going through PTSD and everything. And he was counseling these
Mm-hmm.
people. It's basically like I don't know if you've seen Encanto, but Encanto, her
Encanto.
yeah,
Yeah,
that she was the only one that didn't have a superpower. Like she didn't have a ability, right? So she didn't have a
exactly.
necessarily have one that was like flashy, but her gift was that she was able to bring the family together, and that was way more special than any of the other gifts because nobody else could have gotten the family to really unite the way how it was supposed to be. So
Exactly.
let's flip it. And what's the positives I would say about it?
I think it has a lot of really cool spectacle that I like. As I said, the aerial action scene to me is still worth watching the movie. Just on spectacle alone, also, it's a lot of people enjoy seeing Red Hulk just being a fucking crazy Hulk, which I thought was still pretty cool. Themes, there's some interesting themes that it at least brings up. It doesn't necessarily wrap it up very well, but at least it brings it up. I'm just glad to see Anthony Mackie had an MCU movie, honestly.
Okay, so and then one more person I wanted to talk about was just like, what do you think of the guy that play Joaquin Torres, his character, and Ruth Bat is her name? Apparently, she's in the comics as well. Like these are people like if you're not watching, if
Oh,
you don't know anything about the comics,
the
she was so
little Israeli
small.
girl.
Yeah, she was so small. I didn't know
She's so
if
tiny.
I could take her that
She's so
seriously. But she
she's so
she really
tiny.
she really handled business. I don't know how to feel about her character. I didn't hate her character. I think she was
Yeah, I
interesting.
heard there was there was a lot of reshoots in the for the
You
movie
felt
as
that for
well.
some parts. Honestly, I felt like you could feel that there were some reshoots on certain things, and I think there was a lot of things in there just like, I don't know if it feels like
Yeah, I
cohesive.
heard that there were reshoots, and part of it was because of the Israeli conflict
Oh, okay.
in Palestine,
Yeah, because she
and
lives
that
there as
maybe like
well.
she would have had a bigger role, but because she's Israeli, they kind of cut some of her stuff
Oh,
out.
really? I just want to say, I just think there's so many people that they kind of like shoehorn in this movie that I felt like they didn't need them in here. But I feel like you said, they're like, oh, we'll just put these people in here now because we're going to need them later on. So they're just trying to find roles to put them in, but I don't feel like it
Yeah.
necessarily needed. And I feel like all those extra times could have been used to give like Sam more. I even like Isaiah character as well. I enjoy all the scenes with Isaiah and Sam. The scenes with Joaquin and Sam as well. But yeah, it's a lot of characters. I was just like, we didn't really need you in this movie, but I guess gotta
Um,
expand the,
no,
the
I think
thing.
like so. I feel like Isaac was needed because you needed a motivator for Sam.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not talking
Maybe
him. I'm just talking like Ruth and the buyer.
they could have replaced those characters with just about anyone else, and
Yeah,
the
because
story
listen,
would
if
have
you
stayed
take
the
him
same.
out, right? If you take him out and you take out her, you take out the Ruth girl and you use Leah
Uh,
Taylor, the assistant to
the
the
president's
president. Yeah.
partner.
You could have used her and be like, okay, she is the one that's important. Like, make her go find out where Sam is and stuff like that. It would not have changed anything. Like, she
Yeah, it probably
literally,
wouldn't have.
yeah, because she only came in roles where she was just like, sir, you need to take your meds. Sam, you need to do like that. That's all she did. So how do you just use her for the roles that Ruth were in? It would have given her so much more to do. We didn't need the other two characters. Did I enjoy
Yeah,
seeing Hulk, the Red Hulk? Hell, yes. Was it awesome? It was.
again, I feel like marketing kind of ruined this movie a little bit. Not a lot actually. Red Hulk would have been a really pleasant surprise
It would
that
have
would have
been
made me be like, "Oh shit, that reveal at the end is worth going to this movie for."
exactly.
But them ruining it kind of made me feel worse and
Yeah,
made the movie experience worse.
yeah, I agree. So I think Anthony Mackie is doing like a really great job as Sam. I feel like they're not giving him enough to work with. And
Yeah.
I don't know if they're underestimating his acting skills. I don't know what the problem is. I'm like, bro, give it to him, make him work with it, pay his
Cut
check,
the
bro.
check!
You know.
Yeah.
I'm ready to die, Jane.
Well, you're not gonna die out here, bro.
Another 2 inches. Shrapnel things by, slices my throat. I bleed out like a pig in the sand. Nobody will give a shit. I mean, my parents are care, but they don't count, man. Who else? I don't even have a son.
Well, you're gonna have plenty of time for that, amigo.
Nah, man.
You know?
I'm done. I want a son. I want a little boy, Will.
That's always been my problem with Hollywood and with Anthony Mackie. I feel
Yeah.
like they keep doing that to Anthony Mackie, where I'm like, oh wait, this movie is about Anthony Mackie. It's like, no,
It's
it's
about
actually
Steve
about this other white
Rogers.
guy.
It's about this other
Yeah,
white guy. I know, right? You just change the title of the movie or the name of the
yeah.
other actor. Is like, oh, it's surprise. It's not a white guy. I don't know if you want to offer any other positive to the movie that you like.
I mean, I'm glad that they found a way to incorporate the Eternals and not just completely forget about that movie.
Yeah. In terms of positive, I can say that I mean I did enjoy the movie. I wasn't bored. I love Sam Wilson's character. Joaquin is such a delight. Like his character, Danny Ramos, he did a really great job. I mean, what we can say about Harrison Ford? Harrison Ford is Harrison Ford, you know.
Yeah.
So But as you're saying, like the aerial fights, the scenes and stuff like that were like really, really cool to watch. I like that they're trying to incorporate certain aspect of the different universe in this movie as well, right? I just feel like it could have been a bit earlier and more cohesive. It had
Hmm.
such great themes in this movie about like wanting to come back from, doing something really bad, dealing with veterans and stuff like that who've gone to war and came back and felt like they're not enough or they've done something bad and they can't be redeemed. That those are good like themes in a movie, like being able to live up to expectation, being able to handle the pressure, especially being a person of color in society and trying to be a symbol for the world, right? In a world that isn't
Hmm.
even not catered to you. The world is not catered to you. It's not catered for people like you. Those are the scenes that I really enjoyed. Like the action, I didn't enjoy that much, but the scenes where they had more emotional beats where they're talking, those are the scenes I feel like sold me on like why his Captain America is special in that way, right? Because
Hmm.
that is the human experience, right? Being able to deal with these things on a human level that you don't have the big superhero power. You don't have a gauntlet or you can fly or you have telekinesis. I know here's a dude that's like he's trying to do the right thing with the tools that he has in a world that doesn't want to cater to people like him. And I feel
Hmm.
like if it was breaking down in such a more potent way, I feel like the movie would have gotten across stronger to a lot of people. But those are scenes that made this movie special to me. And I feel like those are the movies that need to be special. If you're going to have a movie where there's a superhero that don't have powers, the talking scene has to be interesting, acknowledging like what can Sam bring to the table that's different than Chris Evans' Cap, because he has big shoes to fill.
Hmm.
And again, we don't want to always keep hearing like he's not Steve Rogers. Like, no, this is Sam Wilson's movie.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I want to hear. He's not he's superhuman, so we know that. So throw him through the fucking window and let me see him try to fucking walk that shit off. Like I want to see that,
Yeah.
with all your gadgets, right? And that's the same thing they did with Iron Man at one point, right? They stripped him down, right? It's like with all your gadgets and everything,
Uh-huh.
you don't have your bulletproof armor anymore, right? You don't have vibrating.
What are you without it?
Yeah, what else are you going to offer me? And then they're already bringing up the thing about like, he should take the serum, stuff like that. But it's like, the serum can't be the only answer to everything, right? Like, what is he offering?
The first Captain America movie
Yeah.
did a really good job of explaining why Steve Rogers should have been Captain America.
Yeah, I felt that
And for
too.
some reason, they just don't give the same amount of effort to like Sam Wilson. And they give you so many
Yeah,
examples of him
that is
being
true.
brave, of him being a hero without the super serum.
That's a scene that really got me too. Is like the part where he was like, "I can do this all day," because it doesn't
I
matter.
can do this all day. Like Sam never gets a I
Yeah,
could do this all day a scene.
yeah, he doesn't have any kind of moments where you're just like, "Damn, like this is an iconic, like a
And I
phrase or
feel
something."
like Hollywood treats him and just like black heroes in general of being like, well, he's black, so being black is a struggle in itself. And it's like, yeah, we know that,
Yeah,
but
we know that. Hmm.
the you still haven't shown us the being black is supposed to be the struggle.
You're right about that. It definitely feels that way too. It's just like it's like, yeah, we know being black in America is hard, or just in general in a lot of countries. Give us the perspective of like what he's dealing with on that
Yeah,
level.
it can't just be this
The insight we need,
well, being black is hard, so that's what his identity is.
Yeah,
It's, oh,
and that's what it
being
kind of
black is
feels
just a
like.
tiny part of his identity.
Exactly.
He still needs to go through a hero
He
journey.
still needs to go. Yes, it's not the only part of him, right? There's so many other
Yeah.
things happening. He still, like I said, he still needs to go through his hero journey.
This feels like a sequel
Yeah, it does.
rather than
It feels like this. It feels like the Falcon and the Winter series, like the series turned into like a movie for like Disney. You know,
Yeah,
like a Disney Plus movie, but then they accidentally release it to the big screen. That's what it kind of feels like. Yeah. So with all that said, how much would you how much would you rate this?
out of 5 stars, I would give it 3.
Out of five, so you give it three. Okay. So for me, yeah, I think I'll give it a three as well. Actually, I feel like the movie wasn't terrible, and I look on some of the reviews what people are saying, and some people are saying it's bland and it's not, it's a disaster. And I'm like, I don't think the movie is a disaster. Just it's more like the direction of what the bigger corporations are doing. You know what I'm saying? There are problems with the
Yeah.
movie, right? There's
Yeah,
certain
people
things
being
in
like,
there.
"Oh, this is the worst MCU movie ever." It's like, shut up. It's not.
It's not.
It's not even. It's not even remotely bad.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just.
we've seen worse. So this is not bad. I feel like there's a lot of topics, like I said, that they have in the movie, and I think it works. And I think the movie just could have done more.
Hmm.
I think that's a big thing. It could have done more. It just needed to do more. It needed to
Yeah,
dig deeper. Like that, I think that's the main issue with the movie. So yeah, I give it
yeah.
a
It
three out of
feels a
five.
little shallow.
It's just that's all it is. So any last words want to
Yeah,
say?
I think this movie is for people who love good action, want to finally see the Hulk kind of be the Hulk. He hasn't been the Hulk in a very long time. And people who, I guess, just want to see a black hero on screen. Um, Unfortunately, I think there are much better movies where you can get both of those things.
Yeah, yeah. If you're a Marvel fan, you're probably going to enjoy the movie. You have to just try your hardest not to compare it to the previous Marvel Endgame, everything like
Well,
that,
the
because
previous Captain America
the
movies,
previous Captain
definitely.
America movie definitely. But I mean, it doesn't live up to it. I can't say live up to it per se, but it's not boring. It's not a boring movie. I feel like
Yeah,
certain
I
hate that
feel
it's
it's the
getting,
weakest of the Captain
it's the
America
weakest.
movies, but
But
it's definitely not the weakest of the MCU. I think it's
yes,
still a
I
good
agree.
MCU movie. It's just the weakest of the Captain America movies.
Yeah, I agree. So I feel like you could still go have a good time watching it. Do I feel like it's worth the money to watch? Not necessarily. I can't say that it's necessarily
You
worth.
could wait. You
You
could
could
wait
wait.
until it was on Disney
Yeah, it could wait till it's
Plus.
on Disney Plus and stuff like that. But if you want to support the black actor, right? And yeah, you can
Yeah.
go watch it. I feel like you can bring your kids; they will love it, right? The kids will still love it. So, and I think it's a really good representation, regardless. I also, the aerial scenes, like you said, were like the best. Freaking scenes were so cool. Like seeing him do his thing though in the sky and stuff like that. I'm like, damn, it's really fun. It's really fun to watch. So, all right, guys. So, I just want to say thank you again to Chris for being here. Appreciate it.
Hello. I am just glad to be here and hope that there'll be more to come.
All right. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Did you like the movie? Let me know in the comment section below. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with us? Like, is it a matter that the Marvel Universe needs to go deeper, dive deeper, and stop being so shallow right now, especially after Endgame? Like, what is the other route that they can go down that really is going to revive the Marvel Universe, So, do you think it was let down? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll be back again. For now, this is the interesting tidbit, and I'm here, your host Stardev, and with my friend Chris. And
Chris.
yeah, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Okay, hi guys. This is Stars Dav with this is the intro.